All I wanna do is play Destiny, and I got a feeling I'm not the only one.
Hello and welcome to, oh my god, episode 8? Episode 8.
Already?
I know, right? Hardcore Casuals.
Rocky 8.
It's like almost 10.
We're so close to double digits.
Mm-hmm.
I am failsafe, I mean Jen.
True that.
It's not murder if it's robots.
If it's robots.
Or Carlos, in fact.
Well,
Anyway.
Carlos!
Oh boy. So I have the Ben and the Dan and the Josh.
Yes, we are all here.
All of the above.
The Ben and the Dan and the Josh units.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Is that our intro now? Or are we?
It might be.
The
I
Power
don't know
Rangers?
I don't know if I can fit into that suit, though. I'm going to be like the Power Rangers' fat cousin from West Virginia. That's actually going to be my theme song.
I do not think that I want to subject anybody to me in that suit either. So that just
let's just go with a hard no.
Yeah.
Does not sound like a good plan.
change of theme music. Impose right now. Sensei says so.
Sensei veto.
Sensei has spoken.
Well, I think we're, I don't really know if we need to even start going roundtable with what we've all been playing, because the most anticipated game of all time.
We even teased about it last episode.
Yeah.
Like, so much hype.
So much hype.
I mean,
It's been out for a few days now.
For
a few days, so we've had a good amount of time to actually play it and get a good feel for it.
We've all dipped our toes in the water to see exactly we could just quell the excitement, waves of excitement.
Oh, so much excitement, yes. The moment you've all been waiting for.
So let's talk about it.
Yes.
Fishing Planet.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So fishy.
So Planet.
So Planet.
Hug, fish. Fish.
I didn't see any geese in there. There were no geese.
No geese. I know. What kind of a fishing pond doesn't have any geese?
That is a complaint I had. It definitely ruined the immersion for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, there's also 100% lack of industrial metal music too.
Yeah. I felt thoroughly disheartened by the fact that the whole preview was like Doom music meets fishing, and I was really hoping that there was just like some crazy metal fish in there that was just like not turning the bass down or something. No.
Hey, full disclosure, guys. We are definitely not talking about Fishing Planet, so don't tune out, okay?
Don't hover over the unsubscribe
Please come back.
I literally think that I probably had it on my system longer than everybody else, and that was 8 minutes.
Yeah, I think I made it to 3.
I caught one fish. One fish.
Wow.
And it was a bluegill.
That's a big deal. You go, Jen.
And then I was done.
I tried to take a bit further. I even did that moment where on there you can get up and walk to the other side of the pond. And I even tried that. And at that point I was like, no, that's it. And then randomly this other shadowy figure that was another character that apparently was trying out Fishing Planet was walking around the pond too. And I was like, no, nope. That's a big bunch of nope right there. Exit and delete. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure.
Definitely sure.
You don't want to keep this on your... No. No.
They check the box. Please do not ask again.
Yeah.
Hey, they made you sign up with your email, guys.
Unfortunately, I blacklisted it right after.
Yeah.
Did it email
Luckily-
you? Because I didn't see
Yeah,
it.
I got confirmation, but yeah,
Oh.
Yeah.
promptly
then.
blacklisted.
I got the confirmation email with the whole, you should have the Catfish Combat Pack and whatever. And I was like, no.
But you know what? I think the funny thing is we're actually talked about it more than we all collectively played it right now. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is more time
Yeah. Let's
spent on this topic.
let's get to the real deal here. The meat.
Yes.
I mean,
Meat
to
of
be
our
fair, it's
episode.
probably fine if you like fishing, but I don't
Oh,
like
yeah.
I don't like fishing in real life either. So
But see, for me, I have a pond across the street from my house. So if I really want to like go fishing,
you'll take your PS4 out and go do it in front of the lake.
yeah,
right?
I'll just chuck
Exactly.
a remote out there and hope it, you know.
Check the PS4 controller out there. See what happens.
Just gonna do that. Bloop.
Full immersion, literally.
an immersive experiment. All right.
I can't believe
so,
you've never been baptized.
It's just, I can see it right now. I'm gonna wind up and chuck that remote out there, and it's gonna be just straight.
Great segue, Josh. Way to go, buddy.
Yes. In all seriousness, we have all been playing the same game. And that game
Just to
think we've,
clarify, it's not Fishing Planet.
it is not Fishing
It's
Planet.
Destiny 2.
We played the shit out of that game. We're almost like at what, 260 power level?
Well,
Two-
you guys are.
253?
Yeah, 245 for me.
I had to take a small break
Nice.
and make cards happen. You know. So
Whatever, man.
hey, winning
You're
money is winning
You're building
money.
dramatic tension. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
I thoroughly enjoy free money almost as much as I like Destiny. So I had to do that part. But then back to the Destiny.
Oh, it's on.
Yes.
Are you guys excited for the raid coming out soon? When's it come out?
Wednesday, I think.
Mhm.
Wednesday.
Pretty soon. Yeah, we're all in the race. Well, not necessarily race. We're definitely still enjoying the game, but I think we've all, except minus Josh. He's pretty far in there. But we've all completed the story,
Yep.
and now
Got
we're
through
just
that.
in the grind, the power level grind, which is pretty much. I think, Danny, you were saying in your notes you're enjoying the changes that they made, right?
Yeah, well, just to be clear, first off, we won't be spoiling anything here. So if anyone is just starting off, you don't have to fear anything until the tail end of the show, and you'll be forewarned before we discuss anything that's story related.
Warning. Danger, Will Robinson.
But yeah, like my stance on it so far, and I think everyone knows that I was very vocally skeptical about it, just because I got so frustrated with Destiny 1 at one point that I just couldn't play it anymore. But Polygon put it best in their in-progress reviews that pretty much Destiny 2 is Destiny 1 without all the bullshit.
Oh yeah.
So,
when I read that headline,
yeah,
I was
like that's
totally what it is.
Yeah, that's what started to get me hyped up, because it took me up until the day before launch to really feel that hype come in and seeing that people were happy with it, and that there were so many quality of life changes that people have been begging for since Destiny 1 launch that they never implemented. So maybe there's some bullshit left, but there's a shit ton less of that bullshit that's still there. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think you summed it up best too when you said that this game, after you've played it, makes Destiny 1 feel like a beta. Just getting all the kinks out, and really, I mean, that's what it is now. I mean, I don't think I can ever go back to D1 after this.
Oh, absolutely. Don't plan on booting it up unless it's just for a group activity. But my own free will, for my own free time, nope.
Yeah. I mean, one thing in particular, the ledge grab. I could never go back to Destiny 1 because of the ledge grab.
Simple, but so incredibly satisfying. Oh, you're totally right on that. Yep.
It makes life so much easier.
I thought it was so bad that like all of D1, like as advanced as these beings were, like they just couldn't put a hand out. Be like,
we died in the most epic part of this battle because I couldn't grab a ledge that was literally right in front of me.
I was gonna jump and do this floaty jump, but my foot got caught on the handrail behind me. Couldn't put a hand down to keep myself from falling off a cliff, so no big deal.
Cue the Price is Right failing music.
Yes.
Boom, 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 boom. Right.
So I guess we've all got the unanimous kind of vibe about it that, yeah, it's good, it's promising, because we haven't seen the end game yet. We haven't seen the raid, we haven't seen how all that stuff works, but anything you guys want to chime in on?
I think the change in weapon stuff was a little interesting off the rip, like trying to get down the regular weapon versus the energy weapon versus the power weapon.
Mm.
And I think, and this happened to me in D1 too, trying to go from nothing to something, and you just kind of just grab whatever the next weapon is in the higher set of light. And there were a few times in there where I was like, oh God, I just handicapped myself by grabbing this weapon because it's, shoots so slow or it's horrible to handle or whatever. I'm like, please drop something else very quickly. But I do like the way that they kind of switched up some of that stuff. It's grown on me since the beta.
Yeah, I like the idea that you can, if there's one set of items one set of weapons that you really like if it's hand cannons or pulse rifles or scout rifles, you can stick to those in what used to be the primary and secondary slots. So now it's the kinetic and energy weapons. You can use whatever you want. You're not tied to certain specific weapon types in that first category and then certain specific ones in the second one. You can just really play the ones you do like once you get enough to pick from.
Yeah. I gotta say though, I was joking around with Jen for her love of the lasers. The Cold Heart, that was the pre-order bonus. So once you finish the story, so the spoiler, if any of you guys had pre-order, you have to finish the story before you get it. But that Cold Heart exotic weapon, it's the trace rifle, I think is what they referred to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like lasers.
It's pretty much the Diablo 3's the Wizard's laser beam, which is why Jen is so in love with it.
Yes.
I mean, who wasn't in love with lasers from Diablo 3? I love the fucking Cold Heart.
It is
it's pretty damn OP, right? People are saying
it's stupid powerful if you're accurate with it. If you can land the crits, it just keeps stacking up. And imagine with an arc burn, it must be stupid OP.
Oh my God, tethers that damage buff from the Warlock bubble, and then the Rally Barricade. Oh yeah.
That's That's maybe a good segue. Maybe we should talk about the classes we've been playing, what we like about them, and how they've changed.
Excellent.
Do a kind of roundtable.
Actually, before we jumped in there, I was joking around about Jen for that, because going back to your conversation in Diablo about this thing has plus 3,000 damage, and no, but I like my lasers. I had a couple days where I couldn't get on and play too much, and everybody kind of got past where I was at in the story, and I'm catching up. But I was playing, and then Jen hopped in and was helping out, and all of a sudden I see her shooting. So I'm like, "Well, I see it didn't take too long for you to find your lasers," and then there was Jen just mashing people in front of me. So, but yes, as you were saying, I think that definitely the classes. Let's roll with that, because good stuff.
Ladies first.
Yes.
Go ahead, Ben. Oh, I mean.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
That's last time. I'm nice.
Hi-yo.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's the void in her heart.
It's the void in my
Seriously. There you go. You damn void stalker.
heart. That's me. So, yes, I decided that I was going to be a hunter again, because Destiny 1, that was my main. I had all three classes at the max level, but hunter was always my preference.
Hashtag stay humble.
I didn't. That's not. Oh, fuck it. No, I had all three classes at max level, so there. But yes, hunter is my preference. And now that I'm back again after playing the beta, I decided that I would stick with my hunter, and I still love it. Ledge grab makes it that much better. The jump feels... It's pretty much the same to me, but I think it's a little... I don't know. It sounds different and it feels better, which is probably a strange thing to say, but...
Man, talking about that too... you just struck a chord. The sound
Oh god, don't
All
even get me
of
started.
the sound,
Yeah.
the guns sound better. Walking
Yeah.
through things sounds better.
That's what I was going to add
Jumping.
that. Yep. It's been the music for me, really. I mean, it's like I was comparing it to kind of a Shadow of the Colossus feel where, as you would progress in the battle with the Colossus and start to figure out the weakness, you'd get, the track would intensify, you get all these crescendos, and it makes the fighting so exciting now that the music changes. There's all these soundtracks that are just so good that go so well with what you're doing. Like, it just complete, quality now. I mean, it's definitely polished.
Definitely put a lot more time into that this time around.
Yeah, on the sound design front, just like you're saying, the guns for me really stand out. I mean, I am a sound geek by nature, and it's what I studied in. It's what I do at work. So, like, it's the first thing that stood out to me. Like, the sound of some of the hand cannons and the shotguns, I mean, they sound meaty. They sound like there's, weight to them, which I found, in D1, a lot of them sounded tinny. You had a lot of, space-like sounds for guns like the Suros Regime and things like that. But this, I feel it's grittier, which I like.
Yep.
And then there's the Graviton Lance, which just
Yeah.
made me probably too excited.
Which one's that one?
It's the pulse rifle, the Void exotic pulse rifle.
Huh. I don't think I've had any experience with that. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it depends on which one you chose
In
At
one of the
a-
early quests,
at
yeah.
a certain point there. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yep.
What's your favorite part about that one, Jen?
My favorite part about the Graviton Lance?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you want me to...
You said it's your favorite weapon. Like, what makes it your favorite one? I mean, I figured that the Cold Heart having your ability to use the lasers, would have been part of it. But lasers.
I mean, it's I don't know. It's a pulse rifle and it's powerful enough, and it has all the good impact and pulse rifle-y things. But mostly, it's the sound.
Oh, so there we go.
It does sound like stuff.
Okay.
Remember partying up with you and you're shooting. I'm like, what is that? You're like, Graviton. He's like, I want one. I want to level up another character just so I can go get it now.
I love it so much.
That just reminds me of whenever the Year 3 Icebreaker was out and people were getting them from the Nightfall packages, and Ryan just couldn't get one for his life. And that we would play matches and you just shoot over top of them and you can hear, that specific like icebreaker sound. And he's like, fuck all of you. I can hear that.
And of course, everybody's like, yep. That's why we're using it.
Now we have all these fun new, gun sounds to listen to. It's good stuff.
Yeah, and that's just really just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, we haven't, even seen any, like the vast collection of exotics that apparently I think they have now. So
yeah, I'm still totally in the dark about them. I haven't started working on any of the quests that pop up. Like, I've just been slowly climbing light, just soon after getting through the story at this point. Excited to see what's left.
I see a lot of adventures on my map that I'm getting ready to run at, so I definitely agree.
Jen and I were just running a couple before we started recording because I think those mostly give you blue rewards, which are a good thing to do up until you hit 265. So it's probably the most relevant time for us to start working on clearing the map of those things.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Pro tip for those listening and planning on playing.
I'm only at 208, so I think that's going to be a good spot for me to kind of make some runs.
Yeah, you can do really well with the strikes and the public events, and you really get substantial rewards from that stuff now. It's not like it doesn't feel like it's not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think even the patrols do okay.
You get your tokens.
Yeah, it all works in a way that is much less monotonous and like grindy.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest things that I like about it now is that you don't have to go to the tower to pick up bounties anymore either.
Yeah.
Like before, you'd log in first thing of the day. Okay, let's head to the tower. Let's load myself up full of bounties. No, this one's a pain in the ass because I'm full. And you had to do that internal sorting of what your shopping list was for the rest of your gaming session for that day. Come in, you zone in where you want. Say, oh, today I feel like hitting this zone, and you've got shit to do in your director, like in your milestones that just show up, which I really like.
That's awesome. You're right. Yeah,
So
everything
you
has.
go with your flavor of the day and just, I'm going to do this and I'll see what pops up and I'll work on that. It feels a lot more dynamic and less checklisty, chore-like than it did before.
Yeah, and even every planet has like their own dailies, right? Like every planet has their own set of objectives that you have to do. And like, it's not just like bounties or rep stuff, but just that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very good point. Good point.
And I'm looking around. I haven't found too many of them, but people are already talking about the lost
Sectors.
lost sectors.
Yeah.
And just some of the random stuff that's around. I mean, we've run into some of the spots in those of us playing around that have found like the little hunter artifact things or the little wall paintings and things like that mark that there's a higher level target somewhere nearby and stuff like that. And I think that just that stuff, finding all those little things here and there, add a whole other level of getting away from D1s. Just go here and patrol.
Yeah.
So go here where there's some enemies and something to do, and then you've got to fly around for 5 minutes until you find the next thing that you might want to do without a map to guide you, or without a functional one. Back to quality of life things. That's one of the huge changes for me is that, we have a map that works now. You can see where you are relative to things. You can track objectives and get an idea of where you want to go.
Public events.
That being said, that's huge. You don't need a third-party app for tracking those, and they're actually worthwhile now, other than being a requirement for some kind of exotic quest or something else like that.
Well, you can trigger the heroic component too, which makes them more lucrative and more fun. It gives you more incentive to actually pay attention and have objectives. It's not just point and shoot, do this, blah blah blah, kill this guy.
Absolutely.
Chase this guy around.
Yeah,
definitely.
There's more of a puzzle element to them. There's it's not just point and shoot and that's it. My only gripe though about the map is that you don't have an idea of where your squad mates are. Like there's no map blip for them or anything. So when you're coordinating some kind of quest activities, it's hard to tell where people are to kind of try to catch up to them, which is my only complaint. But having a map that works was a big pain in the ass for me in Destiny 1 that I'm glad that they finally fixed with something that's at least 99% more functional than it was before.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the other thing, the only gripe I've seen so far, whenever I was trying to finish up story mode, Jen and one of our other guys, Gary, was helping out, and they couldn't see in the mission like what the next objective was. If they didn't know where to go already, they had to wait for me to like lead them where to go. So it didn't seem like it was so much of a team event as much as it was a me event.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting. Once you kicked off the mission, it was fine, but like if you can't like share that. Like this is where we're going, and if you are the fire team leader and you track something on your map, that doesn't carry over to your team. So you all have to know, like, you all have to go in and track whatever it is that you're trying to get to if you have it available. Because if you're helping somebody with story, you're going to have that on your map. So you just have to follow them. Like, okay, tell me where you need to go.
Yeah, and the other thing was that like an experience that we had with one of the quests last night was that picking up a quest or activating it doesn't activate it for others that are on the same step of the quest.
Yeah.
They also have to activate it too. Like it doesn't trigger it for them. So like we went through 3-4 steps of a quest last night and then realized at the end of it that Jen, you hadn't actually gotten them done on your end, even though you walked through them for me and did them with me.
Yeah. And
so
that was,
there's a couple of things that they can work on, but
right. Like those, it's fairly minor complaints. It's just one of those things that you have to kind of know ahead of time.
Yeah, it's an irritant until you learn about it.
Right.
By learning it the hard way.
Yeah, because that was a little frustrating for me because I knew, like, I saw that I needed to go talk to this person, but then frustrating because you had already kicked off the quest, and then since you're the fire team leader and you started an activity, I couldn't fast travel back to the person to go and talk to them. So it was like, well, I see quest objectives, so I'm just gonna follow Dan.
Yeah,
and then
it was fair to assume from your perspective that you had already. It would be shared with you too because the objective popped up.
Yeah. So, but then, we found out that it didn't, and then we were able to fast track at that point and just ran past everything and got it done in a hurry. But the fact that then Dan had to like go through it again to get me through it so that we could do the next part just was kind of like stupid.
Yeah, I didn't talk to her for the rest of the night. I was so frustrated by it.
Yeah, I was, I had to mute my headset so I could cry quietly.
But yeah, that goes back to my thing of, it's without almost all the bullshit of Destiny 1. There's a couple of little minor gripes, but I mean, these are really, really minor things we're complaining about.
Yeah. It's definitely not a strike, like a real strike against the game at all.
No, exactly. But back to Hunter. What else? What else are your thoughts about that class coming back to it from D1?
Whoa!
As someone drops their stuff in size.
Ben?
Sorry, my mic fell down.
It's okay.
I thought you got attacked by a wild bag of Doritos or something over there.
We're good. Don't worry.
Random bucket of water.
I caught it.
Drowned you.
Good. Thanks for checking in. I'm good. Sorry about that.
Well, it's still Hunter. It still feels a lot like the same class, but they've made some interesting changes to like the way the subclasses work. So all of your subclasses have the same special ability. You can dodge now on all of them. So that circle thing, I don't remember what they called that because I never used it.
Twilight Garrison,
I think.
Shade Step?
Yeah, well,
yeah, Shade Step.
What was it? The Titan had the Twilight Garrison
yeah.
Armor they used to do that, but they needed the armor to be able to do it.
Yeah, there was actually a subclass ability that you could select, but it messed with my other, like, I had a very specific way that I wanted to play my Hunter. Mm-hmm. Shade Step did not fit into that mold for me. But now you have it regardless, and you can set it to one of them recharges, or one of them reloads your gun, and the other one does something with your melee.
Yeah, refreshes your melee charge.
Yeah. I think it does something with your melee. I'm not sure if it refreshes it or if it does. I think it does like increased range or something, but it's something with your melee.
I think that even depends on the tree that you take after. Then
maybe it does.
Core stuff, and then I think it alternates based on that. So, but yeah, it's a little more convoluted. But like for me, who played Hunter the least, and I'm maining that for now, at least for now. We'll see what happens in the raid. I like it. Like I'm not 100% natural. I don't know what the jump was like before all that much because I didn't play it that much, but I like the feel of it. I like how everything lays out, knowing that each subclass has something shared between them. Mm-hmm. Like the dodge, namely, like it's right away became intuitive for me to play with that. So coming from playing Warlock almost exclusively in Destiny 1, I'm enjoying Hunter more than I thought I would. It doesn't, not that I ever thought it would be like a chore, but I'm feeling more natural than I thought I would at first.
Yeah, it's very different between those two. Speaking from experience, I cannot work a Warlock to save my life.
I'm enjoying being able to race around the map quickly, go in and do some sword attacks and just bolt right out. And it's a fun mentality to play in.
Yeah, I love that, like the Hunter mobility thing just is that's why I like it so much. But the only thing I will say, is that the Gunslinger, so you still have the 3 subclasses. You have to unlock 2 of them as you go along, but you still have the 3 subclasses. Arc is now Arc Strider instead of Arc Blade, so you have a little staffy thing instead of knives. And it's kind of fun. It makes a nice little lightsaber noise, which I did not notice until I put my headset on. And I said, "Ooh, that's a fancy noise." And it is way, way more fun than Arc Blade ever was for me. Like you can actually clean out a bunch of just trash mobs pretty easily with that thing, and it's a lot of fun. Gunslinger is disappointing because to me it's almost exactly the same as the old one, and I didn't like the old one, so I don't like the new one either. But that's me, personal preference. And as we made reference to before, Void is my class. It matches the Void in my heart. So I have my bow back and my tether.
Just throwing bows.
Yes. But it actually, I do play it a little differently now because of the way the two, like when you get your melee unlocked, you have two ways that it can go, and there are 4 little abilities that go with each path. And I actually play the disorienting one where when you throw your smoke bomb, it disorients enemies.
Whereas I play the opposite one.
Yeah, and
where it's the stealth for the party. Like I went with the raid mentality in mind, where might need to stealth out of crap.
Right,
Stealthy,
and that's
totally.
it's interesting because that's how I played Hunter in D1 was the stealthy smoke bomb like GTFO mentality.
So you have this smoke bomb and just disorients everybody, or is it like a small group of enemies?
It's a very small area of effect. From
so
what
it's just like a small cloud of
Smoke weed every day.
But that's again like a part of the fun is that to just totally ignore the joke is that just you and me playing the same subclass but picking the different tree, we're complementary. Like we both have our own kind of like skills that work in specific situations that'll not overlap.
Huh.
Wonder Twin powers activate. Form of smoke bomb.
The way I've been rolling is with the tether that I can shoot multiple arrows, and I've got the dodge that reloads my ammo. So I'll go in, I'll tether stuff, I'll take my power weapon, unload a full clip, dodge and instantly reload it, and then unload a second clip, and whatever I'm pretty much fighting just melts, and it's fun. I didn't expect to have that with a hunter.
Yeah, I don't remember what the ability, like off the top of my head, what the ability is that made me pick the other path. I know that the tether is beefier and lasts longer, but I only get to shoot it once.
Yeah.
And there's my dodge makes me invisible for a brief time, and then it's whatever that 4th one is the reason I chose it. And I cannot remember to save my life right now what that is. But it's just a little different than the way that I used to play it, and I like that about it. I feel right at home with that bow. Although I will say, grenade-wise, with the way the hunter grenades are now, they feel much stronger, and so do the melees, which is super nice. Hunter was just absolutely shitty in that regard before. But the grenades kind of behave a little differently. Like they splat on the ground and that's where they explode. Like it felt like it was a little, I don't know if it's just me not being used to the distance on the throw now, but it feels different and I'm still kind of getting used to that. But otherwise I have no, I like it. I'm happy.
I like it a lot.
Yes. I did start a Warlock. Like I said, I'm not very good with Warlock. I don't hate it. I'm just not good at it. That jump messes me up.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear your stance on Warlock, Josh, because that'll be probably my second that I try out.
Yeah. So I tell you, kind of running with everything. Whenever I first started in D1, I picked a Warlock just because I looked at some of the class stuff that was in there, and I just thought it was a good place for me to kind of start. And I kind of like, well, it's already what I'm used to. It's already what I mainly played in D1, so why not? And the fact that now you come through and instead of just with your solar abilities having the self-res and being able to chuck a bunch of grenades and punch people, they have the Dawn Blade, so you actually have a sword that has a projectile. I think that one of the best parts of it so far has to be that once you go into your super, you have both the R1, R2, so you can do the short range versus long range, and you take advantage of those projectiles to hit further away enemies or kind of back up and regen yourself a little bit while you're still chucking, sword bullets at the enemies. So I do like that aspect, but there's a couple other things that are in there. They did keep a couple things that were great, like being able to do the solar punch, where you punch them, and if it takes away the rest of their health, that they basically turn into an explosive for you.
Oh, nice.
So that's still in there. really a couple other things that have gone through with that have been good. I really think that they took away D1. It seemed like the Warlock was all about recovery, being able to res and be the person that's kind of hanging around and I'm not quite dead. I can sacrifice myself. And, I think of like Oryx, like whenever we'd play Oryx and you'd get pulled into the bubble and he'd come in with a sword. And I was always the guy like, yeah, I'm the Warlock with the full super that can res. Let me just run up and take this sword shot to the face. So I think it gets a bit more away from that and puts them into more of a tactical, more of a offensive instead of a defensive character.
Right.
Well, and you can do both, right? I mean, with which is pretty cool because I agree. Like I played Sunsinger for the most part just because of that res, and it felt cheap. Mm-hmm. Like either was your kind of your silver bullet in case you went down, you were the one person that could come back up and save a wipe or something like that. But aside from that, you feel like you're always the sacrificial lamb. And you had to take
people
hits.
expected that too. Like if you weren't running Sunsinger, whether you got, people are like, are you kidding me? You're not Sunsinger right now?
Yeah, exactly. Or just in a raid, you almost had to be Sunsinger for that one reason. Like you couldn't play anything else. And as much as I loved Void.
Yeah. And I think the interesting thing that they've done is they've kind of put, or they've hidden a few opportunities in the Warlock that you didn't have previous. In the Void, for instance, there's a couple of the side things you guys were talking about, having your grenades that were different that helped you out beneficially. Previously the Warlock really didn't have a whole lot going on. I mean, they had the Nova Bomb and things like that, but now they have stuff where, the Devour perk where you can punch somebody and it starts like a 9-second or 10-second clock. And it regens your health. And if you kill somebody in that another ad in that 9 seconds, it starts the 9 seconds back over and fills your health back up. So if you're trash mobbing people, like Jen was talking earlier with the Arcstrider, if you get in one of those trash mob moments and you have your melee jacked up and some other stuff ready to roll, you can punch an enemy to start that counter and then just start ripping people off. And as long as you're rolling through people with a pretty good clip of killing them, I mean, your health bar is just boom, back to the top, back to the top, back to the top, back to the top. And
all right, guys, I'm going to step away for a few minutes. I'm going to go roll a Warlock. Take it easy.
Yeah.
That just sounds amazing. Like, wow.
So, I mean, I haven't had a chance just yet. I'm two of the subclasses in. I haven't got the Arc one yet, though I'm already seeing people do the tingle fingers, roaming around, getting their Warlock lightning on, which I'm kind of looking forward to still. I mean, I think it looks like they've kind of given you the cheap opportunity to have that still. But it's just definitely interesting seeing what I would see the Warlock as being a defensive character in D1. Like we talked about, being that last guy that could have your silver bullet moment of coming back and rezzing your team and keep him from a wipe, or, if you used it in one of the disorienting factors where somebody, died and then enemies like hover around their coast and then you hit it and all of a sudden none of them can see and you can just go nuts on them instead of being like that defensive character. It definitely seems like they tried to adjust the Warlock to be more of an offensive character for those people that want to use it to kind of bum rush some of the enemies or take the offense to somebody else. And they don't seem to be as slow as they were before. So
nice. I'll definitely have to try it out because my favorite spec in Destiny 1 with Warlock was like the one colossally offensive one with Nothing Manacles and Void. Mm-hmm. Where pretty much if you punched anything, you got another grenade. If your grenade killed anything, you got another grenade. And if you kill things with your grenade, you'd get super recharging. So you're just constantly throwing purple shit everywhere. And I love that one very specific synergistic build. So hearing that you've got, all these different abilities and maybe, as we discover them, exotics that tie into all that, I'm really curious to see, if there's another version of that really, struck a chord with me in Destiny 1. So I'm trying to keep a finger on the pulse on all the classes because, I'm playing Hunter now, but I'm interested in all of them to see, what they can do.
Yeah, especially whenever we get into like Wrath of the Machine last time around in D1 and Rise of Iron. I liked using the Warlock on like whenever we fought like Vossix and stuff like that. Whenever they had the enemies just falling out of the ceiling, because I could chuck the solar grenades out there and then use the Viking funeral and pyre and all that sort of stuff and just load up on, all that where they're just burning. And I'm wanting to see if those grenades have the same kind of rear range. I started moving away from the solar and into the void for this moment. So I'm kind of half and half. I don't have my whole solar role figured out just yet. I'm still playing around with that one, but the void definitely seems like that the devour and insatiable options that are in the same little diamond of updates are going to be pretty beneficial for everybody. So
Nice.
still working my way through updates later.
Now, I could totally be wrong about this, but how do you guys feel? Do you think that with all these changes that they've made and additions that they have with the subclasses, that they almost feel kind of like they're falling into roles like the traditional RPG? I mean, obviously, it's not like the exact same thing, but I have a feeling like it feels better. It feels like you have a little more control now. You feel more into that role of, hey, I'm a Titan. I'm more tanky. I can put up the barricades, the shields. Hey, I'm a warlock. I have, DPS bubbles, or I have a healing bubble, and I don't know, very supportive. And, hunters are just massive DPS machines too. I don't know.
I think without falling like concretely into that old trifecta of the 10 killer DPS, they do have some very more clearly defined abilities that do that. Like Titan aside, I think Titan is always going to feel tanky because you got the bubble and the shields that you can pop up. I mean, that screams tank, like no matter what your stance is. Hunter's got the smoke bomb, which is a support thing. Gunslinger, the main function of that one for a group is that it's the orb generating spec with a golden gun. Warlocks, they have their healing rift. They've got the DPS increase rift, which will synergize with your shields and whatever the hunter can check out too. I mean, if you're feeding orbs at the same time, you're just rotating supers. So I don't know. I don't know if I feel more or less supportive, especially playing as a hunter now because I didn't in Destiny 1. But you can see that there are abilities that will synergize well in a raid or any kind of main encounter, which will be fun.
No, I agree. I think you're right. It's definitely not the trifecta, but I feel like they just make you feel useful, like different and unique. Whereas, with Destiny 1, it was like, oh, okay, I might as well just pick any class because they essentially do the same thing. They just look different, look pretty.
That's in that sense, you're right. Like, I feel like it'll be even more worthwhile to have one of every class in the 3-man fire team, or 2 of each in every raid, just to complement each other that much more. Whether they'll be mandatory or not, I doubt it, like especially for normal difficulty. But before, we got one Titan bubble. The rest of you 5, pick whatever you want, was pretty much how Destiny 1 felt.
Yeah. I feel useful. I feel unique.
Those what we've done, maybe 2 strikes together this week, and just having your shields around with the instant reload is like, oh my god, this is so much fun.
Oh yeah, it's true.
You want to take advantage of each other's perks more than you did beforehand, that's for sure. Just
exactly.
Because you've got positional placed things that, okay, this gives me a significant advantage in this window that it's up.
Yep, I definitely agree with that. Yeah, guys, I'm so excited to play with you now. I just want to go and play now.
All right, well, if we're done about Warlock, Josh, it might be a good segue to go to Titan.
Yeah, the only other thing I thought about that I wasn't thinking about before is they added in that extra, before you had the melee and the grenade and then your super, and they added in that third ability now with everybody having an extra opportunity. And I think that the Warlock now having the either help everybody out one way or another, and either healing or, because you've got the healing or the empowerment circle, and you can just drop a circle that everybody can drop into, and it's almost like the Titan bubble was in D1. I think that's kind of an interesting little twist on that stuff too. But other than that, that's all I got on. That's all I got on the Warlock.
And real quick before we let Ben go, it's my enhanced radar.
She remembered.
The one thing that I love the most about my hunter. My Void Hunter, my enhanced radar. That's the thing I forgot. Anyway, Ben, tell us about Titans.
Well, Titan. Kind of like Jen. I'm in the similar boat as, I started my first character ever on Destiny 1 was a Titan, and I just that's always been my play style in any RPG, any game, that I always try to go for the tanky shield wielding guy. So, massive energy shield around everybody giving you buffs. That was like, oh God, that screamed Ben. So,
And you can climb upstairs.
Exactly. Hey, I can actually fly and jump. But as far as the changes, there are definite aesthetic changes, I think, especially with the Void subclass. It's always kind of was a little bit lame to me in the sense that, okay, I had a full super and I would just expend it all on one giant bubble and not be able to really move around. I mean, it was incredibly useful, but the fact that you have the option now to choose between either the giant, bubble or go into Captain America mode and just, wreak havoc and actually be able to support still and play and actually feel like having a super,
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely an awesome change that I appreciate. Besides that, I haven't had much time to play Sunbreaker, which is a shame. I've been really sticking to the Void, but the big addition has been the shield barricades, which I think are an awesome benefit for the fire team in terms of utility. Also, there's the rally one, which is the big one that we were talking about before, which you and your allies that hide behind it have cover, but while you're in cover, your weapons will automatically reload. So it's incredibly useful when you combine that with tether and all these other damage buffs. You can pretty much have like a burn phase that lasts, a couple seconds, but you do a massive amount of damage.
And if we could do that and do the Warlock Empowerment drop right in there,
yeah,
that might be super
Oh,
magical.
man.
Mm-hmm.
Plus the tether.
I like that there's
Hashtag
so
plans.
much. Oh boy, I like that there's so much synergy there now. It's not just you have the Titan with the bubble and everybody can get in the bubble, but if you can have this like the actual trifecta now. You all just group up and you have a Titan and a Warlock and a Hunter, and you all have your purpose right there, handy.
Right. Yeah. Oh, that's. I guess that's. Yeah, I'm trying to think. In D1, there was still synergy with supers. Like you could have a bubble, a Weapons of Light bubble with a tether, and it was just. Now they just seem to have put more effort into actually making it feel like you're working together in a team, which is nice.
Yeah. But I mean, in Destiny 1, it felt like you had, like you were talking about the bubbles, you had one one DPS bubble, one shielding bubble, and if you weren't playing Defender, then what the fuck were you doing in a raid? Which I hated about
true.
it because I
right.
love Striker. Like I hated playing anything other than Striker in Destiny 1 for the limited time I did play Titan. And like to be stuck, just okay, it's time to pop my bubble. That's all I'm doing. It felt lame. Like it really did. Like even if you like tanking,
It didn't
it
feel
doesn't
like
feel
a
like
super,
you're tanking. No, exactly. It's just okay. Here's a damage phase. Let's mitigate it, and that's literally the only kind of utility or fun that you had to it.
Right. Well, speaking on Titan, I mean that Striker, which is awesome too, is the super actually lasts. It's not just one fist of havoc and then you're done. Once and done, but you actually go into a Striker phase where you're running around and you have a whole bunch of different abilities where you can punch, and so they've done much improvements to making a Titan feel like like a badass, like a super, I'd say. And I think they did that with all
I want
classes.
to play them all now. God damn it!
I know. I mean, I'm
Bungie,
that
please.
barricade. let's go into super mode and just become all three subclasses, right? But yeah, I mean that's I'm still experimenting, still exploring and falling in love with Titan, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do, if I'm going to make another Titan. I know when D1 came out and I was like trying to decide what to play, I figured, Titan was my class and I would just make 3. And I kind of regretted that at the end, but at the same time, it was nice because I was able to kind of level, and everything that I would get would always be an improvement on my light score for that specific Titan. So we'll see what happens.
Well, for those unaware, with the perk of doing that in Destiny 1, it gave you 3 raid lockouts, so you'd be able to run for the same class. So it was 3 times more loot for that same class if you were willing to put the time into raid that often. Just so that people who don't know, it's kind of an important detail.
Agreed. Thank you, Sensei.
You're very welcome. That totally sound like
There should be a gong in there somewhere.
I was looking for it.
Bask in the wisdom of Sensei Dan. All right. I think notes-wise, we've covered everything. Do you guys have anything to add, or do you want to transition this over into our spoilerific?
Well, I think that's the biggest. Obviously, we don't want to talk about spoilers unless we're all ready to do that. But I mean, that may be the biggest and best change to Destiny is the story. So,
Yeah, there's actually stuff to spoil.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Probably the number one biggest thing is there is actually a story to spoil. And
A hallelujah moment.
And it's worth worrying about spoiling it.
That's also extremely true. Yeah. Wow.
So,
Let's do it, guys.
all right.
Let's do it. So
Let's
be
sound-
forewarned from this point
Sound the
forward.
alarm.
there will be Spoilers. We will play the outro music to the episode, so you know that it's the end of the show if you do not want spoilers.
And if
And
you
if
want
you stay
spoilers,
any longer, forever hold your peace.
yes, no
I
complaints
don't mean grab your
allowed.
junk.
Oh boy. So
All right, so
where to begin?
spoilers.
All four of us have finished the story.
Oh wait, no, Josh hasn't.
Yeah, I
Yes, he
did.
has.
Josh has? Oh,
I
thank
helped
God.
him
Okay.
do it. Gary helped him do it. We did it.
First of all, biggest moment for me. What the fuck was that at the end? Right at the end credits. Holy shit, that was so exciting.
God, I need to find the gift for the History Channel guy. Aliens.
I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens.
That's so perfect. That should be our show title or something.
Yeah, that
Whatever
was
you-
cool. Me was the traveler waking up.
Yeah,
Just
that's
'cause
Oh yeah. Oh, that's true.
I think the thing that cemented that for me was when you speak to Ikora back in the tower after it happens, and you just see that she's totally like, oh my fucking god, this changes everything. She's completely flabbergasted by it.
Yeah. This
The
changes the way
line she says, I'm not used to being wrong. But this time I am. I don't know what is coming next. I found that was really cool because it really does open up the game to anything else at this point.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. What does it even mean, right?
Yeah. So that pulse awoke. Whatever we see at the end of the cinematic that you're bringing up. What else can it wake up? What else is it going to trigger? We see it go through the reef. We see it go through all the zones that we saw in Destiny 1. It's the doors are blown wide open now for it to go in any direction.
Yeah. And so I look at that and I'm like, is that the moment where, whenever the Guardians are out roaming around, you have the moment where the ghosts are bringing the Guardians back to life and repairing them from dying. So with everything that happened in the story of them pulling stuff from Mercury to be basically fodder to run into the sun to try to throw off the gravitational pull, with that whole part of the story, is it whenever the Traveler throws off that wave, is that healing the planet? Is that healing all sorts of stuff around there? And that opens up all these
Right.
other questions of
Because it goes through all the planets. You even see the Dreadnought there for a little bit when they're going past Saturn, and
yeah,
everything
Yep.
gets just bathed in this light. So what does that mean? Is everything getting supered?
Yeah, what else? What else could have been touched by the light before that might be awakened? That may have been awakened by this. It's it's not just us. The Traveler eventually chose humans, and then we had the Golden Age. There's other things that may have touched before.
Oh,
we
yeah.
have never discovered. So yeah,
New
really,
races, new types of guardians. Yeah, because
Yep.
it goes beyond the galaxy. That's the big part for me. It was like, okay, wow, that's the Milky Way. All the races that we've seen have just been in the Milky Way. So we
Right.
are now totally going out of the box.
right. That was really cool. It kept going and zoomed out past that, and that's where whatever that mysterious triangular ship is.
Leviathan.
yeah. I've heard there were some other, horrible spoilers that went out there that something dropped in the Xbox.
Yeah, for the first DLC expansion pack. Anyway, we know what it is now.
Yep. And I'm just like, nope. not going to read into it. I'm going to wait.
Don't want to know.
But
Do
this is
wanna
a
know,
spoiler
but don't
section,
wanna
damn
know.
it.
That's true. There's that. I mean, I wouldn't. It's not like I'm not going to play it. I mean, I'm just saying.
No, I won't ruin it for you. I know what it is,
Right.
but I'm not going to ruin it because we have no idea how it ties into anything.
Wait, what are you guys talking about? I think I missed something.
If it's alien
The-
Egyptians, that's going to be it.
It's what?
I said if it's alien Egyptians, that's going to be it. Just done.
I'm out.
Ancient aliens.
I am out. Oh.
Well, the wave rolls through, and it's like a bunch of floaty pyramids out in the middle of nowhere that just start lighting up like gold. And I'm like, man, you motherfuckers, if you do this. Oh, God.
Well, when I was talking to Dan and Jenny about it, like it kind of looked like the Hive tomb ships, right?
A
Kind of
little
similar
bit.
shape.
Yeah.
There's something similar to him. Yeah.
And Jen, you were saying something about Oryx having sisters, right?
Yes, it's at the end of the strike that I did earlier today. They're kind of having a little conversation because it's all taken, and we're like, why are they taken if Oryx is dead? Well, Oryx had sisters, so
Well,
maybe
what was
that's-
interesting. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Maybe that's why we still have Taken. Like maybe one of those sisters is kind of
The older sister.
Back for vengeance.
Yeah. Well, one of the ghost investigations that you can do, I can't forget, I think it was Nessus. It talks about how Atheon was actually the youngest brother or something, like the youngest creation, or there was like a Protheon, or like a whole bunch of different sounding names that sounded very similar to Atheon, meaning that, it's not just one, so they may be setting up Vault of Glass too.
Oh, God.
Find the 6th chest in there, finally. Or the 7th, or whatever it was.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, Jen and I were roaming around the new tower and found like a good 7 or 8 different spots where there's just like little, just stuff you can cover with your ghost. And they even said that in there, as you're going through the story, and there's the one spot where they release the speaker, and he's just kind of laying on the ground there, and you don't know if he's dead or not or what. But then you start roaming around, and they have this open window, and there's a book inside of the window, and you can scan that, and it says something about that the speaker that was there wasn't the first speaker and won't be the last one. And so they built a room in the new tower for the speaker, and it's like. So I thought that was an interesting little twist, and there's a couple of other little things. They look like little like iPads or something that are floating around through the tower, but you can find them here or there hidden. And it's kind of like weird little story bits.
Yeah,
that's
little
nice.
snippets of stuff about the different, like they had stuff for Banshee and just like background information for people.
What was the one? They're like, he kept trying to log in, but they found out that he kept missing out his thing because he kept signing in as Banshee 41. Couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm excited to find all that stuff because I've just been on the race to the light level grind at this point. I want to try to get the Nightfall in before the next reset. And then I know I'll have time to catch up on all that stuff later. But for now, I've just been focusing on getting shit done.
Yeah. Well, we were playing around in the earlier bit when we only had the farm open, and we found a spot in there where you can go run on the wheel and then run the power lines, and there's a campfire out there that you can launch this sentry thing, and then it puts these little spots across the map that you have to go run and jump into, and if you can complete all of them, it makes your character glow orange, and you can just run and jump all over the map and go nuts as much as you want. And I thought that was interesting. And there's even something in the new tower, where there's just a box somewhere, and it's like, don't touch this. And then whenever you pick it up, it tells you it's like the floor is hot lava.
That's awesome.
And then literally you have to try to make your way by walking on handrails and the roofs of different stuff.
No way.
To this one lit up spot on the map. And if you get there, it just says that you completed the challenge. I don't know that you get anything out of it.
Just
Oh my
the
God.
enhanced jumping and stuff there too.
But it's literally like if you touch the floor, all of a sudden your guy's like, dead.
Yep.
So the floor is hot lava.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so lots of fun little things, and I'm sure there's a lot more, and some of that stuff probably does have tie-ins to other things that we just don't know about yet. So,
Oh, for sure. So there will be more clever people that are going to figure that out and post it all over Reddit before we do.
of course.
Yeah.
I
There's
was-
already a loot cave, apparently.
Really?
I don't want to hit it. I don't want to find it.
Don't tell me. Oh, but I think, I don't know, my favorite thing is just the interaction between Failsafe and Cade. The Cade.
Oh god,
Oh, God,
The
fail
Cade
safe.
6.
just fucking glorious. So much win. Cade is just amazing in this one. I mean, everything about him, all the lines.
Oh, yeah.
I just because of that, I changed my Facebook picture to
Oh, I saw
Cade,
that.
Cade with the chicken, who he named Colonel.
Yeah.
I'm thoroughly loving the fact that he named the chicken Colonel.
Yep. You're like, where
He
did
is a
he even
badass.
get this chicken? Oh my God.
From the farm.
Oh, why? Why with the chicken? It's just funny. Oh, my cotton socks.
Hey, did we want to have or add any tips for players who might be starting up soon, or maybe players who are playing with us? Kind of like I know that Eric's released a great video. Nothing like exploity or cheap or anything, but just intelligent little tips to leveling up and how.
Yeah,
do you...
that's I was discussing that with Jen before. That that's part of why I was recommending that people do the adventures before you hit 265, because that's more or less the cap where blue engrams stop, and those are the rewards that you can get from that. So if you're gonna go through the adventures and want to make it kind of worthwhile, do it before you hit 265. So make it part of your grind of working your way up.
Good call.
And it's the luminous engrams that are the ones you have to not pick up from all the different people, because those are the ones
Basically
that
the
scale with
milestones,
your
right?
current level. Yeah, pretty much. So anything, if you see luminous, it's best to keep that for when you're like 270 and above to kind of get that push to 290. That's the two main things I took away from that video is that, luminous is what you want to kind of be patient on and let them sit there.
So where's the official cap then?
I think it's 300.
Yeah, that's what I've heard for now as well. But I'm guessing the raid stuff is going to be around 290 to 300.
Okay. Yeah, because I thought there was somewhere in like the 260 range. I heard from some people, or everybody was pushing.
Yeah, the
260.
soft cap is there. Yeah, the soft cap is 265 if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So that's public events and legendary engrams and all that stuff. That's going to be around 265 or 270 if you're lucky. If you get a weapon mod or an armor mod that happens to add 5 when it rolls.
All right.
And I think one of the big ones I took from Eric's video too is just to pay attention to how the upgrading and infusion works. I definitely recommend watching his video because it's very hard to explain. But one of the big changes that they've added is being able to mod your weapons and armor, and basically, adding the elements from D1 about intellect and discipline and all that stuff is out the window now. So you're basically free to customize your weapons in any way that you see fit with whatever mods you have. But it also just adds a little more complexity when you want to infuse and basically how you want to go about with your armor. So and I know there's a little trick also that exotics and legendary mods will add 5 right score to whatever equipment that you're adding it to. So you can basically kind of, I'm not sure if it's cheating the system or if it's meant to be that way, but if you infuse something that has this mod in it, then you're automatically going to be 5 light above whatever it is that you're infusing. So again, really complicated to explain, but Eric does a really good job.
Yeah, and that's again part of my original comment. Not to sound like I'm preaching here, but there's some bullshit that's left over from D1 is that push in the higher power levels is kind of really convoluted. You need to know the roadmap to be efficient in it, which is kind of annoying. Like okay, I need this to be able to go 5 light ahead. For what seems like a small gain, but that's kind of something that if we didn't have that wouldn't be part of Destiny, right? But it would have been nice if they kind of made it a little clearer or just more intuitive than all these little hidden things that, other people have to figure out for us.
Yeah.
True that.
Again, minor gripe, because it's a lot better than it was, because pretty much
Yeah.
anything you do up until that soft cap is relevant. But what you do after that is still,
Hey, if that's the only thing we're complaining about and we're praising the
exactly.
story, then hell yeah, that was a win, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
For as much as everybody was like, D1 had no story, the story was hot garbage, blah, 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 like, everybody so far has been like, oh my god, the story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
was,
mean, it's just-
that was kind of the moment that we had, I think, when the three of us finished that story the other night, and then when I did it again with you, Josh, we were like, you know what? We are sitting here and we're actually discussing the Destiny story
Oh man.
in a positive, in a positive way, and we're all impressed. It's not.
Yeah, when you said that, it was a mind blow.
Whenever I knew it was good was whenever we were playing and Gary was like, oh, this is actually a pretty good story. I was like, oh shit.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, that's
oh my
right.
god. Are there polarized caps?
Hold the phone.
Yeah, I know.
Oh hell,
I,
and see if it's snowing.
I know
If
that
Dan
like.
was- Go ahead, Jen. Sorry.
I know that the audience doesn't know Gary, but when Gary came out and said, even if I hate the end game grind, I've already gotten my money's worth, that is like
Oh,
the
man.
highest praise that Gary has ever given anything ever.
Yeah, it's the least characteristic statement
so
he's
true.
ever made of himself.
Yeah.
If we thought Dan was
We love you, Gary.
like hard on D1 and just completely over it, Gary was like twice as much. So yeah, that was a good win. That made me feel good.
Yeah, that's like one of those that's one of those moments where you're just like, this is actually a really good thing.
Yeah, and
If you can impress your hardest critic.
Yeah, that's why there were those initial impression reviews, the partial reviews that started coming out that made me change my tune too, because I quite up really honestly 2 days before, the day of when people started saying, okay, yeah, it's really good, it fixes all this, this is gone, this is improved, this is completely perfect now. I'm like, oh, okay, this is what I want to hear. Like if it inherited a lot of the shit that came from Destiny 1, that, as much as we love that game, there are things that we'll easily criticize because we lived through it and hated it. I didn't want any of that there anymore. If they didn't fix them, then they weren't listening to what everyone was saying for, over 3 years. So, no, I'm glad. I mean, they're knocking it out of the park.
Yeah.
Let's hope that the raids in the end game is the same level.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah. I'll be curious to listen to this episode again when D2 is finally winding down. I remember, I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you guys actually have played, but like when D1 came out, there was an infusion. There was, what were they called? When you dismantled things, you'd get like legendary something.
Oh,
I
those
don't
like
even
radiant
remember
light
what they're
or
called.
whatever, esoteric light, some kind of.
Oh, jeez, but it was just so bad. But now,
Talking about like you get
they're really
radiant
making great
energy and
improvements. Radiant
Yeah.
energies, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the
And
whole
Nightfalls involves
currency
you dying and
and
getting thrown back into orbit. Oh God.
there's a lot of things that they should have never done in the first place that now luckily they learned from. But the currency
sure.
and turn-in thing is a huge change. Thankfully, it's so much simpler now.
Yep.
Like we still need to know what we can do with our glimmer, because I think pretty much everyone is capped and doesn't know what to really do that's meaningful with it. But
Yeah.
everything else makes sense. This goes to this person, this goes to this person, and there's no other hidden use for it, or at least that we know of. And that's the way it is. Like it doesn't overcomplicate it.
And a minor thing that I think you guys appreciate too is, hey, when you level up, you actually get something worthwhile, not just a fucking mode of
shit.
life.
Oh my gosh, yes.
yeah.
Well, worthwhile is debatable because it's cosmetic, but at least it's fun.
Well, it's
Well, yeah.
It's not a fucking mode of light that
it's
I'll add
more-
Uh,
it to my pile of 3,000.
I feel excited when I level up. Like, oh my gosh, yay! I get to possibly get the spicy ramen or the Salt Bay
right.
emote.
or
it's
a really
something
pretty
nice.
shader, or
Yeah, exactly.
whatever.
Totally.
Yeah, it's fun. There's
worthwhile
a
to
carrot
me,
at the end
Dan.
of the stick.
Damn it.
Yeah, no, but that's what I mean. Like it's a fun reward.
kidding,
It's a
I'm
meaningful
kidding.
reward.
Yeah. Agreed.
Ben, you're just
dog
super happy
treat.
to have you're just super happy to have Salt Bay.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Dan's happy
Yes,
with his
he has it, and
monochromatic shader. so he's all good. He's set for life.
I haven't used it yet. I'm making sure I have plenty that I can equip everything with that just for you. But Josh, you missed it. Ben's been having fun seasoning my ramen when we team up. Whenever I'm feeling hungry, I roll out the ramen and he salts it out for me.
Nice.
Oh, I can't wait to salt the raid boss when we defeat him.
Hashtag squad goals.
Yes.
Well,
All right, so who wants to do a Nightfall?
yeah,
Oh,
let's go
man.
do a Nightfall, guys.
I don't have the light level.
Oh, well, I'll help
You'll
you
get
get
there, man.
there
We're
after
gonna
we do the
boost you, don't worry.
Nightfall.
No, I'm waiting for my Pop-Tarts code to come in. Damn it! They
Yeah,
told me like
that either.
it's gonna be 48 to 72 hours.
It's been
Yeah.
like 4 or 5 days now.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's
Well-
gotten it yet.
Well, if you look at the 1.2 million concurrent players who potentially could have been buying Pop-Tarts and sending in multiple Pop-Tarts receipts,
Pop-Tarts and Rockstar.
Or not buying Pop-Tarts and sending in pictures that they found on Reddit.
right? Like, I would bet that they're a little backed up right now. And it goes
man.
until the end of the year, so, like, And it's not really that big of a deal,
I know.
honestly.
Yeah, no, at this point we'll have Sparrow. So
Yeah.
No.
yeah.
So
Anyway.
to sum up tonight, guys, this episode, Fishing Planet sucks. All right, don't buy it.
Yeah, it's
Well,
not
you
even
don't
worth
have to buy it, but don't buy the
the free
DLC.
download.
Unless you
Oh, that's
really
right. Don't buy
love
the Catfish Combat Pack for $99, please.
Yeah, I'll stay away from that.
See you guys next week.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Take it easy.
Deuces.